lost my way, stumble around all day. I try to stand up.
Hi, and welcome to Talking with Giants. I'm your host, Scott Schilling. Always great to have you here. Going to have another great show today. Now, I like starting these the exact same way every time, and that's with my pre-event prayer. So here goes. Lord, allow the words that we share here to positively impact 100% of the lives of the audience in one way, shape, or form. Only you know who you sent here to hear this message. Allow us to do the best we can to deliver that message. Be a vehicle and of service to you. See, that's all we can ever control is a high intention and a low attachment. A high intention of imparting something great here today, each and every one of you getting a nugget, and a low attachment as to what that might be. Again, it's going to be a great show. I got a great guest. Debbie Allen is the expert of experts in business and in branding strategies, best-selling author of 6 books, motivational film star, a mentor to business owners around the globe. She's an expert strategist in the fields of business growth, marketing, and branding. Award-winning entrepreneur is presented before thousands of people in 28 countries around the world. Debbie possesses a unique ability to instantly solve any business problem, leverage solutions and marketing trends that will earn you authority domination. Now, we're going to talk about that with your brand. With over 4 decades of business building wisdom, she easily understands the dynamics of making big money in any economy and with any business reinvention. Debbie, welcome to Talking with Giants.
Oh, well, I'm thrilled to be here with you, Scott. See you again, that we've reconnected, knowing each other all this time.
Yeah, it was fun. You know, I was blessed to be able to speak on your stages a number of years ago, and then just about a month and a half ago or so, we shared the stage and reconnected. That's always fun.
We were aligned. We're supposed to be here today, so there's no accidents. You know that.
That's for sure. So first of all, do you believe that everyone can become an expert?
I believe that everyone that focuses on becoming an expert can definitely be an expert. I mean, one of the things I've known as being an entrepreneur my entire life is that when you focus on something, that's when you get there. Like, you have a path. And so the same thing in the expert world. When you position yourself as an expert, well, you can be an expert carpet cleaner, you can be an expert speaker, you can be an expert coach, you can be an expert in any type of business. So when you focus on, I want to position myself as that top, that best that there can be, and then position yourself to get the top value clients and give really great value. What I say, it's like almost getting like the top 20% of the business. And so, well, you don't have really any competition when you position yourself as an expert. So it's a choice. It's a choice to say, I'm taking my marketing that level. It's a choice to say, I'm going to claim myself as an expert, and I'm going to go to that, be the best that I can be in my niche market.
So how would you describe that expert? Is there any particular attributes?
Yes, an expert is someone that has that confidence. Like, usually a lot of times they have the wisdom and the experience behind them. You know, we've been in this business a long time. I could definitely call each other global experts. And, you know, you have to have some wisdom and expertise behind you that you've studied it different ways. Experts never can really turn it off. Always learning, always being at the top of their game. So there is a certain responsibility of calling yourself an expert, and it's not for everybody. Because I believe when you're an expert, you are in a different position than the general. Getting away from the sea of sameness and saying, I rise above the top to say that I'm going to be a leader in my field.
I love that, getting away from the sea of sameness, that's for sure. I know that one of the shows I describe myself as a mutt. And the reason a mutt, because I'm an amalgamation of Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, you, so many other folks, because I've studied. You have to work to be an expert.
Oh, most definitely. It's definitely a commitment. But, you know, that's why I say, you know, when I talk about this, it's about putting your passions and your wisdom and your experiences together and sharing that with the world. So it's about putting it out there, whether the world is your local community or whether it's the global world. It's really, you know, doing what you love. You don't want to stop learning. You don't want to. You're just absorbed in it. You know this too. We don't ever want to stop in being part of that.
So what's the first step for someone to really launch themselves in an expert in whatever that business choice is?
Well, the foundation is the most critical thing. You have to have a business and a brand strategy. And I don't just talk about brand strategy. Most experts have a personal brand on top of it. But business and brand strategy, it's almost like it goes hand in hand. That I always ask people, where do you want to be in 1 year from now? and then build a financially free business around that as an expert, top of your game. And so you can create a monster in a business, you know this, like, okay, you've got what you want, and then you go, oh my gosh, now I got to do all this work. So that's why it's really important to say, where do you want to be as an expert in 1 year? How do you want to position your life? And how does that look financially free to you? What kind of money is that? What kind of clients does that look like? You know, really having a vision of that. And that's why the business strategy ties into the brand, because every word you use in your brand, every kind of image or marketing you use for your brand is going to attract the exact kind of person that you've manifested through your marketing.
Well, I think you are such a great strategist that way, of being able to have that conversation and really kind of pull from clients at the start kind of what they want, what their desire is going forward, right? Isn't that kind of the way it starts?
Yeah, and I think it's a gift. I mean, I've been an entrepreneur, like I said, all of my life, and built and sold many companies. But I think it is a gift that I have intuitively, that I can see where people, what they want, and then put a package on it, make this happen. And I have clients that have come to me with just an idea, like, I have no idea how to make this a business. I want to be an expert in women's leadership for a certain specific market, and this is what my goal is. Well, you have to have more than just a vision and a passion. You have to have the system and build out the business. But you know, so it's my kind of really a gift from above, wherever that came from. That this is where I'm supposed to be, and it's a beautiful place. Like, you know, too, when you've been gifted the opportunity to have a platform, which you have through the TV show
Sure.
or the books or whatever your platform. I believe it's a gift, and so it's a wonderful thing to be able to say, this is what I was put on this earth for.
It's got to be tremendously rewarding to help people kind of find their dream and then put the steps in place so they can achieve that dream. Mm-hmm. That's got to be really rewarding.
Oh yeah, it is, Scott. It is. And you know, for years I did the speaking like you did. All, you know, circuit. I've been all over the world. Was on a 3-year world tour. You know, doing all of that, and that fed part of my heart. But where it really feeds my heart now is to take people's businesses and say, okay, if they're especially experts, it's like a ripple effect. So they become an expert, they really create a mission or a message that's going to be put out to the world, and then they do it in a multiple. So if I'm creating experts, which I'm called the expert of experts, mm-hmm. is that now I'm creating this ripple effect on the world, helping more people share their message. And in the expert world, so that's a really powerful thing.
Well, I know that you've created a really innovative system called the Authority Domination Formula. Tell us a little bit about that.
Hey, so how powerful is that? You know, the
yeah,
marketing
really,
words,
like,
right?
Woo, I'm liking those.
Because I claimed it, right?
That's right.
You own it. That's what the business, you got to own it. It's really a formula. It's a step-by-step. It's a checklist. Why people don't get most things done is because they don't have the checklist, they don't have a system, and then the squirrels get taken over, right? You know, like bright, shiny object. And so when you have a system and a checklist, it's actually a formula. And so I call it like this pyramid. When I look at a pyramid of like, where are you at as in the expert level? So when you start out, you're kind of at the level of like a novice. Then maybe you've got some skills. You get to the next level. See, the wide part of a pyramid, kind of like that, right? So at the bottom is that a lot of competition. So you're giving your services away. You're undervaluing yourself just to get business. And as you move up the ladder of skilled and expert and all the way to the top, not only expert, but highly paid expert, then the competition falls off. So you can offer higher price programs, people see your value, they find you. You don't have to sell yourself. The right people, because you position yourself, come to you and say, gosh, can I work with you in some way?
I love that idea. I love the idea. So where do people normally come into your program? Do they start at the bottom, or do you get them kind of across the entire pyramid?
I have them at pretty much every level. So I have like the newbies come in, and I have a mission, I have a passion, I don't know how to do it. How do I get that message out there? How do I really make a difference? And then I have people kind of in the middle. I'm kind of stuck. I got to a certain level in my business, and now I'm stuck. Like, where do I go? I need your help. And I think as business owners, a lot of my business owners, entrepreneurs that I work with, they feel bad that they're stuck. I'm like, wait, right. You're not a marketing expert. You're not, you know, maybe they didn't even come from an entrepreneurial background. Maybe they came from a corporate background. You don't know what you don't know. So you have to find a mentor. You know the value of that, right? And then I have people that they've been at the top of their game for a really long time doing what they're doing, but they're still stuck because they need the reinvention. Like, okay, next chapter, but I don't know how to get to the next chapter. Number one reason they don't know how to do it marketing-wise or business-wise is because you're so close to it. You know how, Scott, we're so close to what we see?
Right.
We don't see our stuff. We see everybody else's stuff. We don't see our stuff last.
Well, that's why a coach has to have a coach, quite frankly. As we were talking earlier, it's amazing how our industry has changed. And even the possibility of having a TV show now is so much, I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's easier. And what we can do with this, our points of distribution are so much greater. We can actually change our messaging so much more. How many people come in really in that reinvention mode? I say that people don't know what they don't know all the time. I actually ask them to raise their hand. How many of you don't know what you don't know? Right?
That's why we're friends, because we think alike.
I know, it is. It's funny. It's like, did he just say that? Yeah. So is it possible that somebody knows what you don't know? You know, so how many people come in for the reinvention side? Like it's time to tweak and get moving forward.
And you know when you need a reinvention? When your business gets stale. I mean, you're getting to know when it's getting stale because your creativity's dried up, your income's drying up, you're just at a stuck level. You've been doing something so long and the whole industry and market changes around you. Like I work with a lot of speakers are one of my markets, professional speakers. And then they come to me and they've learned one model of how to make money. So what I teach them is become an expert who happens to use the skill of speaking professionally to get your message out there. But don't look at it as like I got to be a speaker doing the next thing. And I started my world of as an expert, as a speaker 21 years ago. So I know that's one stream. So they were stuck, they're kind of stuck in that mode and they're like, hey, I don't want this lifestyle anymore. I need you to like reinvent me so I have a financially free lifestyle the way I want to do it.
Well, I know for myself, I was, and again, we were talking about this before we came in studio here. I did 288 talks a year for 6 years. And spent my world on the road. And when you do it, you just think that's normal, and then you don't do it, and you go, what was I thinking? So I really understand that. So I love the multiple streams of income side. Let's go that route. How many different ways are available to us to make money?
Okay, so as an expert, basically it's back to positioning. It's positioning your marketing, being the best you can be. So all it is communication. Marketing is communication. So you decide you might be the local accountant in town, but I'm going to be the best accountant I'm going to be, and I'm going to position myself in the type of client I want, and I'm going to speak at chambers of commerce maybe because I'm going to position myself and I'm going to speak, and then I'll be an expert. I'm not just networking. I'm learning to position myself differently. Video is another one. Every business owner should be doing video. I mean, YouTube is a great platform to have your own little TV show, right? And build a platform there and have search engine optimization from that. So creating the streams of income around an expert could be maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to be speaking as part of it. Maybe you want to do your own event, a special event where you could teach people something special. I mean, so what we do when I do like my workshop, for example, and even in the book, it explains create a business plan around your expertise, that's in the middle, and then put a dollar amount on it. How much money do you want to make in 1 year? Okay, and then create how many streams of income or different forms of communication I can put out there that would create income, and put that together around that circle, okay? And then go around and put percentages of how much you're making from each of those, and then you know where to focus. Like you can do this very simply, looking at it and going, where should I focus where my money's coming and where my best clients are coming? That's where your energy is going to go. And that's a very simple business plan. But most people just go from the next thing to the next thing, the next client to the next client. They don't really have a plan.
No, that's really helpful because, again, I think a lot of times, especially in the Christian world, people look at money as potentially something not good. Well, quite frankly, you can't help anybody if you don't have any money. You can't get messages out. You can't serve anybody. You can't do a variety of different things if you're not creating something of value. And money is just the exchange of value, correct?
Exactly. Money's just paper, right? Or a form in your bank. Now it's bitcoins. It's in the air, whatever it is. Right. So it's just, but unfortunately, sometimes money would put us in a category of judging us. Like, okay, maybe I should be more successful. I should have more money. And why am I judging this, right? But for me, it changed. Financially, freedom to me isn't a dollar. And that's why I don't tell you, I'm going to teach you how to be a millionaire, okay? Because like maybe that's not what you want. You want to not worry and stress that you can help your family, help a charity or whatever it is, your church, whatever it is you want to help. You want to be able to do that freely and never worry about it. That's what, to me, a level of success. And well, that's different for everybody.
I love that idea. I love the idea of setting up your life first and then building your business around it. Is that a concept that people fall into pretty easily when you're working with them on the strategy
Right,
side?
because it's the very first question I ask. Like, where do you want to be? Because then I can take you there. I can't, because we could create a monster here. You know, you say you want this much, you want $1 million. Okay, here's your responsibility. Here's how much work you want to do. Okay, maybe that's okay and that's what you want. But be very clear on that, because you're going to get exactly what you want. Every word you put in your marketing, everything you say yes to, everything you say no to. And again, that's another thing as an entrepreneur, is learning how to stay focused and learning to say yes to the right things to get you to that vision, that goal you want to go to.
I love that, but saying no as well is pretty darn important for sure.
Most definitely.
So we have an interesting world today with social media. So how does a expert use social media or to help build their business?
Okay, it starts back with the foundation. I believe that once you brand your foundation positioned as an expert, and then you've got your whole website, you've got all the domains that you own, like you've got this, you know, you can become Googleable, right?
That's right.
Right, so you're going to become Googleable. So you have to have the foundation built first, the really strong website and the brand, and then you create a video, or you create an article, or you create something else that's putting some message out there, and then you post it out on social media. So it all goes back to the website. That's in the middle, and I look at the social media. I'm always looking at this again, these circles within circles, because it goes out to Facebook, that leads it back to a video that you posted from YouTube, that leads you back to the website, and the website's the data capture to get your following. So when you understand it that way, it's not like, oh, was this site for me, or is it, as long as whatever platform you're using is getting them back to your website to create data capture, to have a following, so that when you put something out there, they're coming.
I love what you're saying about your system that actually helps people focus. In essence, is takes and drives back to that central location so that we can capture the information necessary to serve that market further. Again, I don't think people inherently, you know, it's not inherent in most people's thought process that I want to take them because they've got all these shiny objects. They've got Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all these different things. But ultimately, all those things are great to direct focus.
If you look at it like the core, this is your core. This is your core business mission, value, everything. Just like the core of who you are as a person. And, you know, you want to meet the right person. You want people, relationships in your life. I think about who the core. I thought about you, Scott. It's like we don't talk every day. It's been a while since we saw each other. But as a person, the core is there. You know, I'm not going to change that. So if you could take that same model and even put it in a business, your core model, your core mission, and always sticking to that, and then just creating those modalities around that feeds to that. And the right people follow you. Like I said, whether you're a carpet cleaner or your account, whatever it is, the right people follow you, but they get your value, they get you. One of the things my father told me, who was one of my first business mentors, was you never have to discount yourself if you give really great value to people.
Yeah. No, that's so true. I was talking to a friend the other day about it. You know, I was trying to remember how long it had been since you and I had seen each other until we did that last event. Quite a while, a number of years. About 2 weeks ago, I got a call from a friend that I hadn't talked to in 7 years. And when we got back on the phone, it was like we hadn't missed a beat.
Right.
And so it's really about developing that strength of relationship that while I wouldn't suggest only talking to somebody every 7 years, that if you did that, that the relationship was so strong that they would still want to talk to you.
Right.
That what you had during the time that you really built that. And that's really what happens when you have the strength of your program constantly reaching out as that expert, correct?
Right, and then I think you build a community, or in my case, I build a family. I actually call my clients my business family. That's how close I am to them. And that's what I want to, that's how I wanted to set up my business. There's a lot of authenticity and a lot of heart in it, and I miss that, being on the speaker on the road, the keynote. I'd go back in my room and order room service, right? It was kind of lonely. I didn't know if I really made a difference in people's lives. I still do that, but where I love the difference is my business family, because I see them being successful, and I'm so proud of them. And so it feeds this.
Yeah, no, I love that too. People say, well, Scott, do you like speaking or training? And I said, I love them both, but they're really different. As a speaker, you're a rock star. You're out there and you do your thing, and there's immediate adulation, and there's, you know, people, the crowd goes nuts. But with training, it's something that lasts a lifetime. And so it is. I actually kind of like the mentoring side more for the same reasons, because it feeds the heart for a longer period of time.
Well, and I think about these amazing people that I've worked with, and I just think about that ripple effect. If I can help them, and I have some pretty powerful experts that work
Yeah,
with
you
me.
do.
I mean, there's some successful people already come to me. I feel blessed and honored that they would accept me as their mentor. But I just think, wow, I've let their ripple effect go out bigger, and it's still affecting lots of people. Maybe not in a crowd of an audience. It's just, who knows how it ends? It never ends, right? That ripple.
That's one of the keys to the giants that come here. They really look at the ripple effect. It's not so much about them. It's about the influence they can have, how many ripples down the road. That's really cool.
I don't think I've always been there. I think I've probably been in this, because I've been in this business for 20 some years, right? And I think when you get to the first thing when you're speaking, you're always I'll make the next level and the next level, and then ego play comes into play, and that was probably not the best time. Luckily, it was short for me. But now it's not there at all. It's a different thing. I think maybe that's wisdom. Age. Well, I don't know.
or what ego stands for, edging God out.
Yeah, right, like that.
We have that. So how can an expert quickly create products to kind of spread their wisdom and what they've learned from their mentors?
Well, a lot of times people say, "Oh, I took 2 years to write a book." I'm thinking, "My God, that's crazy. It's crazy." You don't really need to write a book first. In fact, I'd say you don't do that first, because that's like your lowest form of income. That's basically a marketing tool that's going to lead to something else.
Right.
You are your number one product, right? Your time and your wisdom as an expert will be the most expensive thing that anybody could buy. It's the highest priced thing is your time. And so you got that already. So you just package that. One of the things I always teach is no dollar per hour. You need to put yourself with packages of people. People don't get to take you for lunch and buy 1 hour of your time. You can't help somebody in 1 hour. You know that, Scott. You need to go deep. And you're going to deep dive. Let's work with this. And you need a period of time with me to make a difference. And so I teach them that right away. And so that will increase somebody's income right away, because maybe they're charging $100 an hour or $200 an hour for what they do, and they immediately release that and go to, if you want to work with me, here's the package, and it's thousands of dollars now.
And well deserved, and
definitely.
and still far more value delivered than dollars exchanged.
Definitely.
You do an amazing job. I know in your book, Highly Paid Expert, there's so many great tips. We already talked a little bit about streams of income. What other tidbits can you let us in on that are in the book?
Well, one of the things I talk about, I think it's my responsibility to say that if you are positioning yourself as an expert, that you have some moral obligation to be good in the world. You need to put good, because we've been in this business a long time, and it can be a very lucrative business as an expert. And so doing it for the right things and not just trying to make money. I think you're going to be in this business a lot longer. You're not going to have rip-off reports on Google. You're going to be, this relationship we have many years. I respect who you are and what you've done in business, and that goes a long way. It's a small world in the expert world, really, because there's the top. You're going for the top 10% of your market, 5% of your market, whatever that is. That's why I say there's a responsibility of being ethical. And I think if I'm teaching people, the expert of experts, teaching people how to do that. So one of the things I did a whole chapter on, being ethical. Like, we shouldn't have to say it, but we have to say it, right?
Yeah, it's really a shame we have to teach people to do the right thing. Well, as a matter of fact, I want to thank you for inviting me to speak at your upcoming event.
Excited.
Really excited about that. What do I have to look forward to there?
So, of course, everything I did before I launched Highly Paid Expert, I was getting so close to it, right? And it's like, what am I doing? I'm a highly paid expert. I've been doing this for 20 years. I can teach people to do that. So I started creating a model doing it. So that became a book. That became a workshop. So I do a 3-day workshop twice a year. And so it's going to be in Phoenix, November 4th, 5th, and 6th. And I invited you to come and speak. And I'm thrilled that you're going to be on my stage again. And it's going to be 3 days of just amazing content where you're going to come and you're going to get it done. You're going to leave with the stuff done. You're not going to just, a bunch of speakers and get little bits of information. I go deep. Like, I'll train for the first day and a half. Before you see Scott on stage, you're going to see a day and a half of me on stage walking you through the model so you understand every bit of it. So.
Well, you'll actually see me in that day and a half, actually in the front row taking notes.
Oh,
that's where you're going to see
an
me.
honor. Thank you.
Well, no, the one thing, we can never learn less. Buckminster Fuller, right? You can't learn less. You just got to keep on studying and learning. And I know that when we were reunited in Palm Springs at that event, I learned a lot of things just, and again, we hadn't seen each other in so long. It's so cool. How do you stay on the top in this whole experts business?
Well, I mean, one, we talked about you keep learning. The other is I don't try and judge myself against who else is doing it. It's how I present it. It's how I do it based on my experience, what I have. And so no one can really steal that. I don't worry about people coming and taking, they might be teaching something similar because they're not going to do it how I do it. And I think trusting that and have the confidence in getting the right kind of clients and being able to handpick your clients. Basically, I tell people no sometimes that I don't want to work with them because they're not coachable or they're just not ready yet. Like, maybe you need to go do some other work first before you come to me because we're going to go fast. We're going to be serious. And that's the model I do. That's how I do business. So I want the people that come to the workshop to be the serious people. And when you pick a name of an event called Highly Paid Expert, it's pretty much telling you, it's a certain percentage of people that are going to come that are ready for that.
That's awesome. Well, our time is almost gone, so I want to make sure that everybody understands that we're going to, through talkingwithgiants.com, we'll let you know when the Highly Paid Expert event is. Again, it's the first weekend in November. Looking forward to being there. Also, getting a hold of your book through talkingwithgiants.com. We'll make it available to everybody because they gotta get this book, right?
Yeah, it's a great book. It's actually the model. It teaches you everything step by step.
That's awesome. Looking forward to that. The one thing I also want to do is I want to offer everybody a free Talking with Giants book. Simply text free Giants book to the number on your screen, and you'll actually get a free book. You'll understand where this all came from. See, it's all about these experts, giants like Debbie Allen, a longtime friend who's now here on Talking with Giants for one reason, and that's to serve the audience. We got about 30 seconds. Give us one last great tip.
Well, I mentioned focus being one of the big things. I would think as an entrepreneur is really being persistent. And so if you're going to choose that I'm going to be an expert in this world, then be persistent with it. Don't give up. Don't judge yourself to other people. Just stay on track and get there.
Well, we're all children of the Most High God, so we are experts. Now you just got to go and you got to claim it. Scott Schilling saying goodbye for now.
Hi, Scott Schilling here. A number of years ago, I met Guinness Book of World Records holder, world's fastest reader, Howard Berg. His ability to manage knowledge impressed me. With the amount of information available today and the pace with which it's coming at us, having the ability to read and remember that information is more critical every day. Howard told me that using his techniques, I could double my reading speed in just a few short hours. Initially, I wasn't sure, but if in fact Howard was right, it'd be the best $100 in a couple hours I ever spent. Then Howard made an irresistible offer. Learn it first. Double your reading speed in just a few hours, or you owe me nothing. Now, how can you go wrong? The results have been amazing. I asked Howard if he would pass along that same opportunity to our TWG audience. Emphatically, Howard said yes. To learn more, simply go to twgspeedreading.com. Watch a short introductory video, sign up for the webinar that best fits your schedule, and double your reading speed in just a few hours, or you pay nothing. Now that's a deal worth looking into. twgspeedreading.com.